Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're here on a pivotal launch for Saturn Aerospace. I am joined, myself, Quasi, I'm joined by Caden and Apollo on today's launch. So, Caden and Apollo, say hi.
Hello, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well today.
Hello, I'm here as well.
And today is going to be an amazing launch. Now, we've got a lot on the countdown to go ahead. We have the most mission controllers we've ever had in the control room right now. We have over, let's have a look here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mission controllers in the room. And that doesn't seem like many, but actually it's an outstanding amount because we had 11 people say that they wanted to come today. And that is just insane. So thank you all the new people for joining, and we really appreciate the amount of applications coming in recently, and we hope to build this company more as we develop through the year. So Caden, tell us a bit about what's going to happen today and why we're streaming this monumental launch.
Yeah, so we're about 24 minutes out from launch. It'll start with vehicle lifting off the pad. It'll go through ascent. We should see 33 engines on the first stage lit. Then there'll be hot staging. So hot stage is where you light the engines of the second stage before separating. It's just an easier way, a more efficient way of separating the vehicles. Following that, the booster will do its boost back burn. It will head back to the tower where it'll get caught by the chopsticks on the tower. The ship will then fire its engines for a little bit longer. I think it's like up until 8 minutes. It'll then shut off its engines. We will coast, and then Rhea will re-enter the atmosphere and will attempt to do a soft on-target splashdown in the ocean.
Exactly. So the mission profile is also going to include a payload deployment of some test versions of ESCOM V6. Now, this is the latest version of our satellite network that provides communication worldwide. And now we're hoping this will work successfully. However, of course, this is the first time we've launched the ESCOM satellites on this version. So it's going to be we're going to be hoping that all of that goes outstandingly today. Now, with 23 minutes on the clock, there's a lot to talk about, and one of the main things that we're going to see today is a fully reusable rocket taking to the skies and becoming, again, one of the most powerful vehicles in the whole world, and also being our largest vehicle in our fleet. Now, Apollo, can you tell me just why this is important for the company having such a large... Oh, apologies. We do have Apollo has to be back in a moment here. So, Caden, can you tell us why it's important to have that huge vehicle and a vehicle that's fully reusable as well?
Yeah, so the size, it's not just for the cool factor, it's because we need the performance. With the stuff we plan to do, we need a really big vehicle so we can get massive payloads to orbit. And then the fully reusable aspect is so we can save money. Building launch rocket stages is very expensive, especially for all the engines. So if we can cover them and reuse them, it just cuts down the cost of launch.
Exactly. So the cost of launch in the the aerospace industry is very important, and the reason we want to lower that cost is so customers can come to us and we're competitive compared to other companies, such as well, I'm not going to name names, but there are other companies that are much less profitable because of the fact that we own the market in terms of cheap, reliable launches.
Yeah, it should be noted that we actually have the lowest um, cost per kilogram to orbit of any company in the world.
Exactly. And we welcome everyone tuning in today. We hope that you're all here to enjoy the time that you're with us. If you don't want to watch the countdown, feel free to have it muted until we reach that T0 mark and watch the launch. We're going to see a lot of exciting stuff today. And when will you go for ship catch? Now, Caden, I'll let you take this away. Seems like Caden doesn't know, but we had a question in our YouTube chat saying, when will you go for ship catch? And this is still undecided. We don't know if we're going to yet. And initially, we're
Sorry,
going to
so
be
yeah,
landing.
I do have an answer. I think they decided on they want at least two soft splashdowns on target of the Rhea ship before they go for a catch attempt. Obviously, that number can increase. Oh, sorry, land on a pad. I'm getting told in the back channels. My
Rhea tank
apologies.
levels nominal.
Good call there.
So yeah, we're going to be landing on the pad for the first few launches to ensure that all things go well. And if it goes better than landing on the chopsticks, then we'll probably stick with that for the time being. It's still early days for the ship in terms of recovery because we haven't done it before. We have never been able to recover a ship fully. So it's going to be an interesting one.
It should be mentioned that the fact the ship will land on the pad doesn't hurt our launch cadence, as 90% of the ships will have to go back to the payload integration facility to get the payload anyway. The tanker
Exactly.
vehicles, they could be put straight back on the booster and launch again, but the cargo ships won't be able to do that. Seeing a question in the chat, is the ship filling? I believe so. Hold on, let me check.
We might be able to get some
Yes.
cameras of it as well.
So
That's the main thing.
Rhea started slots load at T minus 27 minutes and 25 seconds, and then started liquid methane load around 5 seconds later.
Yeah, you can see it on the screen there. The ship is filling just as much as the booster at the moment, and that fuel should be filled by the by just before launch, and you'll hear the mission controllers call that out. The weather is green today so far. Nothing that's going to affect us. This is the first ever launch from the New Zealand launch site, and this New Zealand launch site will be the pinnacle launch site in the Southern Hemisphere, and will be mainly launching rear payloads and rear launches from now on. And for your information, if you want to know where the launch site is, we are just south of Christchurch in New Zealand on the South Island. So if you want to go and visit our site now, you can feel free to do so. It's a public land all around, except for when we have road closures.
Yeah, I will say watching a Rhea launch is very exciting. I was out there for the first launch of RHE4. It's so cool.
Yeah, it shakes every bone in your body, and it makes you feel really close to the actual design and development of this rocket and how it just progresses as we continue to build a reliable, fully reusable launch system. And being in person is insane when you see how big this rocket is. Now, at the moment, there's not a lot going on in terms of mission control callouts, and this is because everything is green at the moment. And if we had anything red, we'd be talking about it and sort of hearing in the back channels that we have an issue. But thankfully, nothing's going wrong, and everything is going right at the moment.
Yeah, but it should be noted things can change really quickly. 1,000 things have to go right for a launch, and if just one thing goes wrong, then it could potentially scrub us for the day.
Exactly. But today we have a large window. It's about an hour long launch window. So from the point of T0, so in about 17 minutes, we or 18 minutes, apologies, we can go an hour after that before we have to call a scrub. And that basically means we can empty the vehicle and refill it once if required. But we don't really want to do that. So if we ignite those engines and then abort, we're going to have to scrub for the day. But that shouldn't happen, and the rocket is safe at the moment, and nothing looking odd on our screens. Now, Caden, I'm going to hand it off to you as I have to exit the mission control booth at the moment, and I'll hand the commentary off to you for a moment.
All right. Just a quick status check. Once again, weather is green. All stations are reporting green right now. Coming up, around T-minus 15 minutes, there'll be the initial go no go poll. If we are not go at this point, we can still hold there for a while, about an hour, as Quasi was saying earlier. I'm trying to resolve any issues we are having.
Recovery teams are in standby mode.
Now today's payload is a couple of SCOM satellites. So four SCOM satellites have been told. So this is a newer generation of the SCOM satellites. As you know, this is our internet service. We had a lot of launches of Phoebe, which we unfortunately retired, and that set up our constellation. Now, obviously, with orbital decay, some satellites have deorbited, and other ones have just stopped working. So teams took the opportunity to redesign the satellite, and then we're going to start rebuilding the constellation. And we're hoping to fully replace it with these new generation of satellites.
Hello again, I am back. So we're currently all good on the countdown, as mentioned by Caden. A bit about the SCOM satellites, I believe it was, and everything on that front will be posted on our website if you wish to go and view more about that. And I'm not sure if Apollo's back yet, but if you are back, then maybe we can get a hello from you and we can discuss some parts of this launch. It doesn't sound like he's back. Just give us a minute. We can see if we have him on the back channels here. We are in a different mission control room from him.
I do believe he had to take an important phone call, if I remember correctly. So he might be a little while.
Yeah, potentially. But we'll get some talk about some experiences from him when he's back. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the webcast. Of course, yeah. So Apollo, we have you on the back channels. Hello, welcome. So tell us a bit about when we used to launch Rhea on the block 1, 2, 3. You know, how was that experience for you?
Penalty for the initial go no go poll.
Oh, stand by. We're getting some go no goes.
Range.
Go.
Oh, go.
Rhea control.
Go.
IAPTIS control.
Go.
Recovery.
Go.
Payload master.
Go.
Copy. We are go to continue terminal count.
Very good call out there. So at this point, teams are still counting down to launch in 14 minutes and 37 seconds.
Okay, so cut off there by the mission controllers, but Apollo, you've been here for quite some time. You're one of the OGs. So when we launched Rhea Block 1, 2, and 3, what was your thoughts and what did you think about how the rocket was launching? What experience did that give to you?
Well, initially, I would say this was more of a larger experimental vehicle compared to what we had with what was previously called Phoebe. So it definitely had a lot of problems. We did have mostly successful launches, but we had some failures here in between there. I think obviously since then the vehicle has gotten a lot taller. We've done a lot more revamps and reforms on it. So I think we'll see what happens today, but I'm pretty confident it'll go pretty well.
Awesome. And yeah, it should go very well. We're hoping to see such a great launch today. And if it doesn't go well, it's still another bit of data we've gathered. So ultimately, we are still in the developmental phase of RHE4, and soon we should be launching payloads. But if we have an issue, then that's fine.
I have full confidence in this vehicle, except maybe the Daphnis team. The Rhea team is some of the most talented people in the world. Not just the builders, but the GNC, the designers, everyone.
Exactly. And if you want to be part of that mission control or design team or software team, feel free to go to our Discord where we're actively applying until the 11th of May. And that is the UK version of the 11th. So when the UK hits the 12th at 23:59 or 0000, then we will close applications until we reopen them sometime this year. But if you want to join the team, apply now and visit the link which will be provided in the YouTube chat in just a moment and get joining. There's some tips and tricks on how to be successful in your interview on there, and go ahead and feel free to join.
Release.
Trust me, you will not regret joining the team. I joined, I think it was about a year ago now at this point, and I've enjoyed every second of it.
Exactly. And Apollo, what's been your experience? You've been here since potentially 2022 or 2023?
I would say my experience in this company, obviously, ups and downs, it's a pretty friendly community. We are pretty chill with each other. There is obviously a sense of professionalism here that needs to be followed in order for launches like these to go as fast as they do and stay as organized as they are. We are always prepared for events, whether internal or external. I would say it's a very good work environment around here.
Yeah, and it's obviously not a real company, so it's going to have sort of moments where it's not potentially as professional as usual, but we're still trying our best to keep it as professional as we grow in terms of size and expanding the company.
60% fuel.
And then you just heard the fueling is about 60%. So we're closing in on that T0 and we're 12 minutes away from liftoff now. And everything's getting exciting. I'm really excited. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I'm so excited for today's mission and this flight in particular. It's called Pirates of the Caribbean because we're landing in the sea, obviously. And of course, it's gonna be one of the best launches we've had in a while. And trust me when I say this is going to shake the mission control room. It's going to be absolutely incredible for all of you watching at home.
Yeah, it's just incredible to see RHE4 finally start getting out the test flights and start actually testing how to be operational. Deploying payloads and starting a temp recovery of the upstage.
And one of the things we test on the upper stage is, would this work on the moon or Mars?
My steel is continuing to look nominal.
So we want to land on Mars eventually. So we want to make sure that because we land on Earth, that it can land on Mars. And landing on Mars is going to be one of the biggest moments for the company. and the world, because we will be potentially the first people to ever land on Mars. So it's going to be absolutely incredible. If we can land it on Earth, that means we can land it on the red planet, because the planet over there is has a thinner atmosphere. It's a lot less gravity, so it'll be easier to land there than it is here. Although there is a lot of radiation, I've heard, so it might still be a challenge. Well, it will still be a challenge, but we are actively working toward that. But for now, we're focusing on the moon and landing there, getting a city on the moon before we transfer over to that gorgeous red planet.
Yeah, RHE4 is going to open up so many opportunities for us. I think this current ship it has the ability for on-orbit refueling. It can stay on orbit for around 48 hours, but I think there is going to be changes to implement that will increase that time. I think the number of engines on the ship is going to increase eventually from 6 to 9.
Payload initial startup.
The Anth engines are going to get upgrades to push them as high of a thrust as we can, high of as efficiency as we can.
And of course, the ship
Payload
and
initial
booster,
system startup.
the booster and ship will probably get longer throughout the years, just to have a bit more fuel and payload capacity. Now, earlier we spoke about the OGs and how Apollo was joining back when the Phoebe rocket was here. And of course, the Phoebe rocket was our version of Falcon 9, so we launched that over 150 times in total, and it was perfect. It was such a fun launch system, and of course, we landed it over 100 times, and it went very well for the majority of the launches. A lot of the launches caused issues, but when we switched to the Phoebe Omega version, we were almost landing every single launch. So that was a pivotal rocket in the development of all of the software and hardware here. And we always try to work on the improvement from our vehicle of Phoebe. And unfortunately, that vehicle is no longer in our fleet. But we still learned so many lessons from it. And Daphnis is...
Lord Master, please confirm the payload is interfacing correctly with Rhea.
The Phoebe rocket is basically the development base for Caden,
Client on site.
For the Daphnis rocket, Caden's rocket. And the software has been heavily inspired in terms of logic from that rocket.
It's ever since the Phoebe program was ended, about 70% of their team moved over to our program, the Daphnis program, and then the rest went over to the Rhea program. So.
Yeah, and one of the main things. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I can't really talk for Rhea, but I know for Daphnis, when we were struggling on stuff, we looked back, saw how the Rhea team did it.
Recovery site
stress
is
for a lot of stuff.
Connection's good between Payload and Rhea.
And another thing is, when we were launching Phoebe, a lot of the drone ship landings would fail. A majority of them, in fact, because of the fact that the Phoebe booster wasn't extremely controllable. But now we actually have turned that around, and drone ship landings are our most reliable landings. We've landed 2 for 2 out of the Daphnis launches. The first launch we ever did with Daphnis, it landed right in the center of that drone ship. The second launch, which recently happened, the JPSS-1 mission, actually landed as well. So we've managed to have 2 for 2 and have a full success rate. And I can't speak for the rest of the Daphnis launches yet, but it seems like we're getting a good. Seems like we're getting a good reliability out of Daphnis.
Yeah, it was an incredible feeling for our first launch to not only land the booster but also get the second stage to its intended orbit. It was just an incredible feeling. Obviously, Daphnis is launching tomorrow. Teams are working on the vehicle right now. It is out of the pad, but it's laying flat on the ground, just for some final inspections on the engines, the tanks, the payload. That'll be going vertical tonight, and then tomorrow we should see it launch.
And I believe it might be a night launch, so we should be seeing that in the dark. So that's the first night launch of the year.
I can confirm it will be a night launch.
Beautiful, that's amazing. Now we have just less than 8 minutes. And I've seen another question in the chat. Will Daphnis ever land back at the launch site like Falcon 9 flights? Now, Caden, you know best. Are we going to be doing return to launch site?
Yes, this is something we are doing. Right now, the teams are running simulations, some like software simulations, some hardware in the loop as well. We've connected the fins to like some motors, and we've got the flight controller controlling those fins, simulating a landing back at the launch site. I believe one of the upcoming launches, either the 4th or the 5th, will be a return to launch site one. So
Amazing, yeah. And Apollo, I'm not sure if you're back again, but can you just tell us a bit about how the company's evolved to get to this stage that we're at now with such quality launches and having such a big base of supporters in the company and where you were and where the company was when you started compared to now?
Well, when I first started the company, I would say I would describe it as a smaller one. We had a pretty tight community of supporters and fans. We've obviously had a lot of leadership changes. Of course, I at one point was the COO of this company, and since then there's been some incidents, but obviously we have resolved all of them. We are a much
Iapetus
healthier
initial engine
company.
chill has begun.
All right, good call out there. We have evolved a lot. A healthier structure in terms of leadership. There's a lot more, I wouldn't say democracy, more of just, there's more freedom to choose here in the company. We decide on stuff as employees together.
I am seeing in the chat a question: will Darkness ever have a heavy version? We did do a study on this. It didn't look like the best idea, but I'm not gonna. It might come back in the future. Just depends on the needs. It's just not really that necessary now since you've got Rhea to fill in the spots for those heavier payloads.
And I believe we might be at that point, 6 minutes to launch, where we're fully fueled. We might hear from rear control or Apertus control in a moment, if that is correct. And we should be moving on to the next phase of the countdown.
So at about 5 minutes, we might hear the LD brief. Sometimes they do that behind the scenes, just if it's got some information that we don't want released out to the public. But sometimes we get a treat and get a listen into that. But if not, then next main event after that will be at 4 minutes. They release the final weather balloon. Now those weather balloons, they transmit the data directly to the mission control room, but it also transmits it straight to the vehicle, and the vehicle updates its weather parameters on its flight computer in real time.
I heard another question in chat. Will Saturn Aerospace ever launch parts to build a space station? And now, while I'm the chief technical officer, I'd like to give this one to
Iapetus is at
Caden,
85% fuel.
because Caden is probably the best person to answer this in terms of the goals for the company.
Yeah, so this year we are planning to land humans on the moon, and then next year is when we really start looking at the Mars missions. But right now, our focus is delivering our customers' payloads to the intended orbit. If we don't get the payload to the intended orbit, even if it's still in orbit, we class that as a mission failure.
Exactly. And Apollo, I notice you've been here a while. So how about you tell us a bit about the past stations and what we've already done in terms of getting, station parts to orbit and how we've achieved that?
Well, it has been a while. We don't seem to do this as much now, so obviously I've unfortunately forgotten a lot of the names. But we have built stations obviously around Earth, mostly using Rhea, past versions of Rhea where we would deploy the station modules through the nose cone or the payload bay. I believe we did use Phoebe Omega a few times as well. Obviously, I do hope we're going to resume that. It is up to leadership and our development teams if we are going to do that, but there is a lot of hope that we will resume it.
Yeah.
Now on your screen,
apologies. Go ahead, Caden.
Red Cross, you take this one.
Okay. Well, it's some exciting news, and as you can see on the screen, we've shown our mission patch for the Rhea rocket, and this was created by our art lead April, Aviation's, of course, girlfriend. So thank you, April, for making a patch and refining that, and refining the patch as we had a bit more of a launch cadence with it. So
Range,
there you
final weather
go.
balloon.
Now we recently did introduce another artist, Sputnik. You may have seen them in the main server. They make some really good art, so they will be helping April out. I do not know if we're taking any more artists. I do not believe so. No, we are not. Just head down the back channels.
Now, I'm absolutely outstanded by how many people are watching today's webcast. It's an incredible day at the launch complex, and we're so excited to be launching. Any tips for the interview for software design and mission control? Yes, of course. I stated above that just be yourself. Know how KOS works. There's a lot of documentation online about it, and a lot of tutorials as well on YouTube. And ensure you know how to read code, and how, of course, how to work as a team, and how you progress throughout iterations of yourself. So, say you make a mistake, we want to see you work on that and address that, rather than you being like, oh, okay, I made a mistake, that's not my fault. We want you to be able to work on yourself as a person, because those people are ultimately the best people for the team. And as you can see, we've just passed an event on the timeline there. That timeline is
I
going to be
made this
present.
final field top off.
That timeline is going to be present throughout the countdown, so you can see what's happening during the launch. Oh, okay. So, any tips for the interview from Mission Control and I meant design team? So, I posted a link above for the careers page. Now, I'm going to post that again. It gives you a few tips there, but I'll give a few more just for you. Be yourself, of course. Figure out what your motivations are.
This engine chill has begun.
Figure out your motivations, what your strengths and weaknesses are. Figure out your background. Explain your background. Sell yourself to us. Big yourself
Rhea,
up.
final field, top off.
We want to see you bragging about yourself. So ensure that you're doing that, and ensure as well that you know
Final
why.
spaceport alarm sounded.
Ensure you know why reusable rockets are good, and stuff like that. But unfortunately, this is where we get to the point, or fortunately, however you look at it, where we actually are getting really close to the launch now. So, ladies and gentlemen, 2 minutes to go. I'm going to hand it off to Caden for a moment here, so that he can explain what's going to happen in these next few moments.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff happening soon. So obviously we are 1 minute 50 seconds out. Next call out is 1 minute 45. Rhea will start engine chill. 1:30 is the final go no go pull. Then there will be some Rhea flap testing. 1 minute 5 seconds. After this, we'll start with flight computers.
Rhea,
Ultimately,
initial engine chill.
they helicopter for the first for the engine chill. Then 5 seconds after that, Rhea will start its flight computers. At 50 seconds, all weather balloons will be clear from the flight zone, so that's just clearing the path for the vehicle to fly through without hitting anything. At 40 seconds, there is a hold
Attention
point.
all operators, this is LD for the final go no go pull for flight. Range.
Go.
Rhea control.
Go.
Iapetus control.
Go.
Recovery.
Go.
Payload master.
Go.
Copy. This is LD. We are go for launch.
Perfect. We're go for launch, ladies and gents. Apollo, are you excited for this launch?
Yeah, I am pretty excited. I'm watching very closely. I'm on the edge of my seat, you could say.
Yes, exactly. So, in a moment, we're going to see the diagram for the Iapetus booster, seeing those engines come alive on a live diagram, and we're also going to see the orientation of the booster. And then when we separate, we're going to see the orientation of the ship and the ship engines as well. So we should see some interesting stuff throughout launch, and I believe we're going to see that now. So that you guys can have a little look at what is going to be shown on the count and the launch. So there you go. We have our UI on screen. That is what you're going to see throughout the launch. Me and the rest of the mission, or me and the rest of the commentators, should I say, are going to keep our mouths quiet and let you listen into the final minute of the countdown up until about 10 seconds into flight. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's spam Rhea in the chat and let's do this thing.
Everyone enjoy the launch. We'll speak to you guys on the other side.
Iapetus flight computers are in startup.
Rhea flight computers in startup.
Weather balloons cleared from flight zone.
Designated hold zone has been bypassed.
Rhea final engine chill.
Engines and tanks are at correct temperatures. Minus 20. Eight, 7, 6. Ignition. 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff.
My God, we have lifted
Rhea has
off
cleared the tower.
the largest rocket in the world, launching from New Zealand. Ladies and gents, 10 seconds into flight, we're already 100, almost 100 meters a
Iapetus
second.
thrust is nominal.
You can see on the right we have the booster engines on 33 good engines, and the booster is already pitching downrange to achieve our orbit. Today we're orbiting, I believe, 180 kilometers, but
Trajectory is nominal.
this is it, and everything is going well. This is awesome. Oh my God, I couldn't have asked for a better liftoff there. That was perfect. Now, as you can see, we're tracking that rocket as it climbs, and everything is going so
Rhea
well.
final engine chill.
We are starting to feel the rumbles here in the mission control room. Everything around us is shaking right now.
Yeah, it's getting pretty loud in the room. Every single one of you watching, let's hear some hype for this. Let's hear that Rhea hype, as everyone has already been doing, and just keep it going until we tell you not to. You know.
Max Q.
This is a great tracking shot showing the condensation cloud Rhea is leaving behind as it exits the atmosphere.
Now, Apollo, briefly, can you explain what max Q is? We've just passed it.
Well, max Q usually refers to maximum aerodynamic pressure. It is the most stress that the vehicle will experience while it's in ascent. That's pretty much how one would explain it.
Yeah, it's simple as that. Like, if the rocket's gonna blow up, it's gonna blow up there. You know, like we throttle down for this area so that we're not producing that much drag.
Avionics, power, and telemetry is nominal.
Oh wow, you can see the mountains in New Zealand there, and onboard cameras on our little GoPros on board the rocket. And in a minute, we're going to be seeing that stage separation, the hot stage. This provides over 60. Oh, there it is.
Miko.
Rhea, engine ignition.
And there we go. There's that boost back starting.
Hot stage maneuver complete.
Apprentice boost back burn has begun.
Wow. Oh my god.
Station's recovery for booster return. Go, no go. All launch director.
Go.
Range.
Go.
Peters control.
Go.
Recovery, we are go for booster return.
Great call out there. We've been given the go for the booster to return to the tower.
That is good news. We're ready to land this thing, and we can. I believe the booster's shut down, so the booster is now coasting to land on the chopsticks, and we should see that in a few moments' time.
Nominal.
On the right side of your screen, we're seeing the ship, which is going to go to orbit, deploy those SCOM payloads, and on the left, we can see the booster, which can see both islands of New Zealand. Oh my god, that is an awesome shot. We can see the island just in the distance there on Earth below. So we go for return. We are go on the orbit so far. So the ship and booster are perfect. This is a perfect launch so far, and everything is going just how we want it at this point of flight.
Now, Quasi, correct me if this is wrong. This is Iaptus Booster 2, right?
Yeah, and it's already landed twice, so this will be its third flight.
Rhea, Iaptus, and trajectories are nominal.
Now, it's really cool because the LD actually has to send a manual. The LD has to actually send a manual command to the booster for it to return to the tower. This is just like an extra level of safety because we don't want the booster to return to the tower if we don't think it's going to land.
Rhea, avionics, power, and telemetry, nominal.
Yeah, so in case the rocket isn't safe enough, we have boost ship shutdown, and I believe that is a good
Yeah, engine cut off.
insertion into the orbit. I believe we're coasting to apogee now. Wow.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the SCOM satellites get
Chopsticks in catch
deployed
position.
get deployed out of that ship. Another good call out there. Chopsticks are in catch position. The tower is getting ready to receive the booster.
Yeah, now those the reason we don't, well, let's start off with saying the booster is we're the only people in the world that catch our booster, and this is the biggest booster or the biggest flying object that gets caught. So instead of landing a plane, for example, we literally just land it in the sky. And this is to prevent any damage on the booster, and it also allows us to turn around more quickly, so we can just move the chopsticks and put it back on the pad, and in 10 minutes we already have another fueling process going. So it's an incredibly quick sequence, and this is why we do it, so that we can quickly launch again and again and again.
Another added benefit of catching our boosters, landing legs are heavy, especially for a
Rhea,
booster of
chamber
IAPS
pressure is
size.
nominal.
So if we can delete those landing legs and essentially put the landing legs on the tower, which doesn't fly, that just increases our payload capacity. I believe when we decided to make this decision, it increased our payload capacity by, I think it was like 20 tons or something very significant like that.
Now, 81% of you out of 43 people said that the booster will land. And of course, there's going to be a few people that don't expect it to land. So 20% of you said no, which is fine, of course. But we're going to impress you here, and we're going to see. So here it comes. And you can see the aerodynamics affecting it. The grid fin's helping us slow down, and it's the primary source of slowing us down during descent. And you can see the launch site down below. We should see that landing burn anytime now.
This is such a cool shot. See, everyone's going insane in the chat.
Oh my god, look at that camera. That tracking camera there is just insane. Oh my god. We should be seeing that landing burn any second. Here it goes.
Iapetus landing burn is startup.
Oh my god. Right, we're gonna pitch over now. We're moving into the chopstick arms so that we don't smack into the ground. There they are. Oh. Oh. It's...
Chopsticks commanded to close.
We've caught it. We've caught it. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Let's go.
W Rhea, W Iapetus, we have caught it. Ladies and gentlemen, the 35 people who are here right now, you have seen it with your own eyes. We have caught the booster in the chopsticks 3 times in a row, and that is to everyone who told us that we could not do it. Now, back to the ship. Apollo, what did you think of that?
Never doubted. There was never any doubt that it was going to work.
Exactly that. And the software developers, the hardware developers, the design team, the mission control, thank you very much for getting that landed so well done. And Caden, obviously, I'm sure you have a lot more to say on that.
Yeah, obviously, me personally, I might be a bit biased, but I do think seeing the Daphnis booster land on the drone ship is a bit cooler. But that is still very cool. The guidance and software engineers on Rhea are just incredible.
Exactly that. Now, there's a lot to happen still to come, and it's going to be a little while before we see any of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to enter a coast phase now with some music, and we will see you in a little while when we reach our apogee. So thank you all for tuning in, and we really appreciate that. So we'll see you very, very soon.
Range. Landing area is clear.
Hello, guys. Sorry, guys. Welcome back to the webcast. We're about 24 minutes into the fourth flight of RHE4. The next major event will be the.
Let me take over here. I believe Caden's had a bit of a conniption fit. Actually, no. It seems like he's back, and we're going to hand it back over to him.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. The next major event will be the payload deploy. So again, we have 4 SCOM satellites. I think it's version 6, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Okay, so we have some abuse in mission control. I'm going to take over here. Unfortunately, one of our mission controllers has just been beaten by a woman, and we are about to reach our apogee and deploy those beautiful SCOM V6s, and there's going to be 4 of them, as Caden did specify. And yeah, so the recent delay. Okay, a bit of a random call out in the back channels. We can see views of the Earth down below. It's very dark on the stream, apologies, but there's not much we can do about that because there is no photons. We're behind the planet, the sun is on the other side. So put 2 and 2 together, it's going to be dark. As you can see, we're almost 26 minutes into flight, everything going swimmingly. And
it should be good. And just remember, once Rhea deploys its payload, its job is not done for the day. It still has to go through entry and land in the ocean. So we will be streaming that, so stick around.
Exactly. And that should be in another 20 minutes or so when we come back down to that.
Payload, main doors are opening.
Okay, so we have received information that the payload bay doors are opening for that payload deployment. So we should see that in a few moments' time. Oh,
again, it is dark, so we've deployed the drone camera.
Oh,
and
there's the
orbit insertion burn. Sorry, I forgot to mention that.
Rhea orbit insertion burn shutdown.
That is my apologies. I forgot to mention that when Quasi asked me to speak about what's happening next. So that just puts Rhea on its final trajectory. Just before it deploys its payload, you can see some city lights down below us from this, once again, drone camera.
Yeah, we have a massive 360 camera moving around the rocket. And how did you get the engine feed? We use a mixture of KRPC, KOS, and Python so that we can get that. Oh dear. It seems like we have SCOM released. The rocket is a little bit wiggly.
Payload
the rocket
deployment confirmed.
The rocket is it's doing something.
Yeah, not sure what. Not sure what's happening.
Waiting to see if it's actually been deployed yet.
Too much spinning to really see what's going on. Let's see what happens. We see the spinning coming down now. It's calming itself. Instead of SCOM, we've got SCAM. So scam, ladies and gents. This is not going well on the deployment side of things. It seems like we've stabilized.
Once again, subscribe to the channel. The launches are bad and the streams are worse.
Oh, we can see the payloads flipping around inside the cargo bay. And we should. And if the streamer decides,
we see that the payload has been deployed. It looks like a lot more than 4 SCOM satellites there. Don't know what happened.
That looks a little bit, well, let's say destroyed. We'll have to look into that issue.
Unless we've added the ability for the SCOM size to reproduce, I don't think that's normal.
No, I think they can grow limbs either.
Maybe they can speak them.
So whoever did that is getting fired, I'm afraid. So applications are now again open for the team.
Yeah. Just another example on why Daphnis is so much better than me.
Exactly. So in a moment we're going to see the deorbit burn, and that should happen around 138 kilometers. And Apollo, tell us what's going to happen after that deorbit burn. I guess we'll never know.
I can answer this question if you would like.
Yeah, go ahead.
So after the orbit burn, the vehicle will point to basically the upright position. This is sometimes referred to radial out. And then the flaps will deploy, so they will fold a little bit. We might do some quick tests, make sure it's all working. Maybe not, I can't remember exactly. Then we'll just coast for a little bit, wait till the vehicle enters the atmosphere. At around 70 kilometers, if I remember correctly, the flaps will officially get control of the vehicle. So that's when we turn off all RTS control and the vehicle is only descending under the control of the flaps. We'll coast for a little bit. I believe there is some fancy maneuvers planned just to test the vehicle, and then following that, the vehicle will. Alright, sorry, do the overburn. I'll continue talking after that.
Payload bay doors are closing.
It does seem the streamer's having some issues with his setup, with the music playing. Do apologise for that. We seem to be doing some interesting stuff with the RCS at the moment, and I believe we're detanking some of that fuel. So, yeah, we vent that so that we pollute the atmosphere. As you all know, the government spreads the weather and controls the weather. So we're controlling that weather right now and ensuring that the no, I'm joking. As you can see, it seems like a solar panel from one of the ESCOM satellites flying past. We're going to ignore that, and we're going to move on swiftly.
Oh, wow! This is certainly interesting. You know, I think I said this before, but I'm going to say it
showing
again.
good health. Contacting customer.
That might have been a lie there. But I said this before, I'm going to reinstate it. Here at Saturn Aerospace, the launches are bad, but the streams are worse.
That's it. That is top. It does seem like we are approaching sunrise. So if we have a look at that little sunrise, we'll see the sun coming back around the planet. We might be out of fuel here, lads, and it might not be good for the company. But let's have a look and see.
It's fine, guys. We can just use HyperEdit.
Not sure we should be really using HyperEdit.
I was just joking.
Okay, so we're waiting on that detank finish. There we go.
And there we go.
So we've got a tiny bit of fuel left, about 2% of what we need for launch, and that is fine. That's exactly what we need, really. We detanked a little bit more than required, just to have that little lighter mass, and we can see the sunrise now with the lovely morning coming around Earth.
Beautiful shot. So now we should be. I want to continue my. So about 440 seconds away from the deorbit burn. Don't know what that is in minutes. Can't be bothered to check.
It's about 6 or 7 minutes, I believe.
6, 7.
Apologies. It does seem like we're getting some abuse in the Saturn Aerospace team again. Yeah. I do apologise for the abuse towards our fellow mission controllers. My advice would be to hit the woman back. I'm joking. Oh, I did not mean that.
Quasi, you might have to leave the box in a second. Not being funny, lad.
That was simply a light-hearted joke.
Yeah, but the feminists won't find that funny, will they?
No, they probably wouldn't, to be quite frank. And some of you may be asking, who is Frank? Personally, I don't know. Someone's saying, someone's saying, someone's saying in the back channels that Frank is Benjamin Netanyahu in disguise.
Oh my.
But I'm not too
Maybe
sure.
that's true, maybe it's not.
So back to a serious note. As we can see, the rocket coming in down. The actual altitude of the rocket hasn't changed whatsoever, and we're sort of in limbo here. But we should be seeing that deorbit very, very soon. Once we, it seems like data has actually disappeared. I've just noticed, and we no longer have data on the rocket. So, GG's to the data, and there is no longer speed, altitude, or time.
They are flying this blind, basically.
Yep. So essentially, the code doesn't know what it's doing, and the lead software engineer will be fired today.
Isn't that you?
Yeah, that's a good point. The junior software engineer. We might see that data come back any minute now. We've got an LOS, which means that we don't have any feed to the rocket, and that's probably due to that data being missing. Oh, seems like we've got data again. Woohoo.
Yes. Yeah, dog.
Yeah, dog. Good data. And a question in the chat. When crew launched, Caden?
We are making a decision right now on how we will launch our crew to orbit. There's multiple paths we're going down. We're thinking about maybe developing a whole new vehicle, which will better fit the needs for our crew. We are looking into a crewed Daphnis variant. I think we were looking into a crewed Rhea variant, but I don't know how far that went. We're really in a decisive position right now. We want to figure out what's best for the company before we actually commit to anything.
Yeah, otherwise things might go wrong.
Now, I don't want to leak too much because this is kind of sensitive information, but there will be a whole staff meeting today after this launch. And that will be something that's on the agenda to talk about. So anything after that, announcements will be made on the decision we eventually make.
Yeah, exactly. And we have quite a few interviews scheduled for the team. So this is your last chance before the 11th to apply. We aren't going to be accepting everyone, but we are going to be accepting as many people as we can to have a big mission control team and as many people to help out with launches as we can find.
Just reminder that the applications do close very soon. So if you're thinking about joining, now is really your only opportunity to do so. I think it's about 22 hours until they close. Correct me if I'm wrong, Quasi.
Yeah, about 22 hours, and it will close until we really need more mission controllers. So it's going to be a little while yet. Now, because apologies.
No, you can take this one, Quasi. I'll be
So, because we just absolutely destroyed our ESCOM satellites that we put into orbit, and we lost our signal a couple times, we're trying to use those as much as we can, but unfortunately, Rhea had a little bit of a seizure, and we lost a couple of those ESCOM satellites that were planned to be in orbit. We managed to get 2 into orbit, I think, but none of the rest of them really worked. We'll have to look into that and see what went wrong, but the rest of the ESCOM satellites might be in the wrong place or whatnot. So that's the reason they went out of signal then.
I'm seeing a question in the chat from Pandemonium. I think that's how you pronounce your name. Did you land the booster? Yes, we did. IAPTUS Booster 2 was caught for the 3rd time. So really being able to prove out the reusability of IAPTUS.
So let's hope that we follow that reliability and reusability on the ship today. It should be a great opportunity to see how accurate the ship is. Now, if we're within a kilometer, that's really good, and that's an improvement from the last launch where we were probably about 30 kilometers away from the landing zone. So, apologies, we were 5,000 kilometers away. So if we can get within a kilometer of our target, that would be a 5,000% increase of accuracy. Apologies 5,000 times. I do not know how to do math, and I am stupid. Now, 38 minutes into our lovely flight here, and we still aren't really descending.
I'm seeing
So,
another question in the chat. Can we do a fine test of the booster soon? That is up to the decision of the Rhea team. They will inspect this booster, see when it can be fired. But obviously, I don't think this one will fly on the next flight. I think we'd like to give our boosters at least a 2-mission downtime, so they just have a time. So the teams do have a time to inspect it. Obviously, we do want to decrease the time in the near future, get it down to potentially hours.
yeah, so that the orbit burn is going to happen in probably about under a minute now, and then we're going to start seeing us coming into the atmosphere and landing. And again, we've lost data, and not to worry, this is a pretty common occurrence when we destroy every single satellite we've got in orbit. And no, we're not catching Rhea yet, but if we land this... Oh, Jesus, that was a bit
Rhea
of a...
is reorienting
deorbit
for
burn
deorbit
startup.
born. Burn.
A little bit of debris there. Not to worry.
It'll be fine, right? What could go wrong?
Well, if
Rhea
it fails,
deorbit
we
burn
know
continues.
why.
Yeah.
No,
This ship is moving very aggressively here. I don't know if that's...
And this camera would be great to see on the entry. This camera is really cool seeing it on the entry. So let's see what we get.
Quickly, I see a quick question from Electric Doge X. Are we catching /using Rhea yet? No. So this is one of many water landings to test landing the Rhea ship. Followed by that, we will land Rhea on landing pads, and we just don't need to catch it yet because we aren't looking for a high launch cadence, especially since the cargo variants have to go back to the payload integration facility to get to payload again. And then we will start catching Rhea ships in the not too distant future. I can't give you an exact time frame. This is really I am seeing another question. Just keep the questions coming, guys. And this is what we're here to do. I see a question by Apollo 2140. Is Israel one of your investors? Yes, they have been very generous to us.
We love
To
Israel.
me, that's surprising. I thought Israel would not like to spend a lot of their money, but that does surprise me, if I'm honest.
We do remember
Well,
that Daphnis is fully supported by Scientology.
And we are not going to answer that question by Vortex. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to answer questions like that. And when the payload master contacted the company, were they happy? We don't believe the payload master is alive anymore. We're not too sure on that one.
What?
We believe they were beheaded as soon as they messaged the company about their loss of the payload. Was Quasi mentioned in the Epstein files? That's a great question. I'm gonna have to say no on that one. Unfortunately, I can't talk about redacted. Now, I'm going to start a poll. Everyone, please, respond to it. We're going to ask your hand, and if it so we're going to actually get rid of the data. Some angry words coming in the back channels. Now, of course, this webcast has turned into a little bit of a fun, enjoyable webcast.
It's been a while. We're having a good day, getting to see Rhea fly back to the water landing. So we're just gonna enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, and welcome to the people in the chat. Hope you're all excited. An electric Doge. I'm excited as well. Daphnis is going to be very fun to see. And is Trump your dad? No, he is not. My dad, unfortunately, um, uh, is dead. Watch it land, Trust. Yep, it's going to land. And can you look under there? Under where? I dug that grave, and I'm going to firm it. And on that note, we're going to bring Bob into the commentary box.
Yes, Bob. I love Bob. I actually love him. He's so nice.
Okay, I'm going to step back then and stop doing my job because everyone seems to hate me.
So the question to Quasi, are you related to Epstein?
It is me, the one, the only, the greatest, and the most real, the Bob Squared.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun.
So we're having a very exciting deorbit born. Very exciting. Who's playing crickets? Who just did that? Someone fess up right now. So as we can see, down there we have the Earth, and Earth is our home, and we are very excited to see our firstborn child, Rhea, come down home. So I'm trying to identify that landmass real quick. What is that?
I believe that
It's
is
Africa.
That's Africa.
Oh, that's my home. God bless Africa. I love Africa. That's actually where I come from, if you don't know that. I come from the best country in Africa, Algeria. The greatest, the greatest.
Give him some more. Is Bob gay? Yes. Bob, do you love children?
Unfortunately, I am not
Now,
homosexual. That is not something that I strongly believe in.
I have to take over the mission control, the webcast here, and
Bob's
do
from
inform
Israel.
you. I do have
No,
to
he's
inform
not.
you that we should probably stop with the joking now and get back to normal webcast opportunities and not call people gay publicly.
Party people.
Okay, so let's read some comments, some chat. Bob, do you own any shares in Palantir stocks? I'm going to be 200% honest with you. Not really. Stocks is not really something that I am like very interested in. I understand that people, right, especially in like companies like this, stocks are what we run on. We run on the stock market, but I don't fully understand them yet. Very confusing. I did put all of my money into Blue Origin because I want to see my Amazon package get delivered into low Earth orbit, but I mean,
I may have said where we are wrong. I believe that might actually be Australia. I am just going to check that for you guys.
Bob, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, that is Australia. We are on the west coast of Australia, heading east. So GG.
if any of you guys are in one of Australia's major cities, look up and also look under there. Yeah, you have to look under there. Do you guys have any rival aerospace companies? Amazing question. Yes. So we have a lot of ops. Our biggest op is Jovian. Jovian Aerospace needs to go. We need to destroy them. Eliminate.
What's wrong
terminate,
with Jovian space
exterminate.
system?
We have actually got a system in plans where we have an ICBM, an intercontinental ballistic missile, and we're going to launch it on Rhea and absolutely demolish Jovian's headquarters. And that is going to be a brilliant display of power from Saturn Aerospace.
Spot on. Will Bob be a part of the Biggie Juice experiment? Now, some of you guys don't know this, but I was actually part of the Jamaican sleep experiment. That was really fun. I was listening to some Jamaican funk, right? And then we tried to sleep, but we realized that we couldn't sleep, so.
Bob, I've never heard Jamaican funk. Is it good? Would you recommend it?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend listening to Jamaican funk. All right, let's see. Is there any more questions that I missed?
I
actually have some updates with the ICBM. We are actually now naming it Operation Epic Flurry.
Okay.
The Jovian headquarters is going to be absolutely demolished in a couple of days' time.
So my Vortex CW4PR said, "Are you Trump?" I am not Donald Trump. Actually, Donald Trump is me, right? So Donald Trump's name is not actually Donald Trump, is actually Bob Squared. So glad to clear up that misconception. Hermes SAS, unfortunately, I cannot respond to that question. So if we look closer at our amazing spacecraft, right, you'll see
believe
that
we're
we have
landing-
flaps.
I apologize. I believe we might be landing in a heavily populated area in the United States of America and killing every single person in that city. But I could be wrong.
No, sacrifices need to be made for spaceflight.
That is true.
Now,
I've thrown
as
another
we see,
question for will Bob integrate the Fart Blaster 3000 into Daphnis?
That is not his decision.
Actually, I am also in charge of fueling up Daphnis with methane, so that is one of my responsibilities here at Saturn.
Right, I think.
So the Wind 110 actually has a good question here. Have you ever had a human on one of your ships? Now, on Rhea, we have not got a human on this because for a rocket to even hold a human, it needs to go through this thing called human rating, which is basically when they do a successful test flight with all the systems required for a human to stay inside of the capsule.
I believe we
Right,
did do that
and
for Rhea once, but it was an older generation, so.
so yeah, that is a process that a lot of rockets need to go through for human testing. But you might not know this. In the past, we've had this amazing launch vehicle that was extremely useful for us and carried us. Do you guys know what the name of it is? It is our Go Phoebe. Phoebe is obviously based off the Falcon Mid 9 because it's mid, but it's better because it's made by Saturn. So I believe we've done some crewed flights with it. If you don't know, crewed Falcon 9 is basically just like a crewed Phoebe, but Phoebe is better. So New Zealand? I've never seen that thing on a map. That's a pretty cool view. The big blue orb.
So yeah, this is actually a view that we normally give to our mission controllers. It just gives them an idea of where it actually is relative to the Earth. You can see there that that is our New Zealand site, and I think that's our targeted landing site. But it does look like we're going to be flying right past that.
So the Wind 110 has another good question here. Will you ever build your own space station? Now, I actually have no clue. I'm pretty sure other aerospace companies were planning on building a lunar gateway station, but our rockets were just so flipping good that they canceled the whole thing and replaced it with our concept. So if that counts, maybe sure, but
And hopefully we'll get some onboard views again of Rhea soon, seeing how it's looking. We've got about 7 kilometers until we enter the atmosphere.
You can see New Zealand down there. We have done a full orbit in just 50 minutes. That is the launch site we launched from, right down there.
Do you plan on going to one of Jupiter's moons? I never heard of Jupiter. Is that like a real thing? I think you mean Saturn. I mean, a Saturn mission to Saturn would be pretty cool, but I don't see Saturn being a pretty Saturn thing for Saturn to do. So
We're going to plan to go to Titan, I believe.
Yes, I do believe it has been team. We've actually got a team that's doing a trade study on how, if it's possible to land humans on Titan. Now we
Noticeable
are afraid we
drag
have.
is now affecting Rhea.
As you heard there, we are now
awesome
officially
sauce.
passed into the atmosphere. Things are
You
going
know,
to start
the wind,
getting really exciting here soon.
the wind 110 is actually gutted with his questions. We do actually have like a concept for a vehicle that could send our Rhea boys down to Mars. So
And ladies and gentlemen, we are now descending below the atmosphere. We are in Earth's atmosphere again, and soon enough, we're going to see some heating start to take place, and that is going to slow us down from 3.7 kilometers every single second down to about 20 meters a second when we're on our belly and descending. And then we're going to land with our three sea level optimized engines and touch down in the water, hopefully at a speed that won't make us eat doo-doo. So it's going to happen all pretty quickly once we start slowing down, and from there, everything should go very well.
frame rates need to be sacrificed for this mission to be a success. The Wind 110 back with another amazing question. How long will it take to go to Mars/build, go and come back if possible? Good question. Now, there's a lot of films where they suggest a way to go to Mars, which is just going in a straight line and then halfway through turning upside down and then slowing down, right? So that is something that our Martian concept was actually thinking of doing. But remember, there's obviously a more optimal way to do this, which is called a Hoffman transfer, which is when you extend your apoapsis to reach the planet or the body that you're going to at the time that you want. So from like what I can think, I think the estimate was I think 3, 4, 5 months. It's within months, not years. But with Hoffman transfer, it is within years, or like 6 months. I don't know, 6 or 7 months. 6, 7.
Bruh.
All right, Bob.
Pack it up, Bob.
There's a door, you know. Should use it.
How many test flights do you plan to do for RHE4? If this one goes very well, we might even send a payload on the next flight. So hopefully next flight we'll get an actual payload, even if it's our own payload. That would be our plan. But contracted missions should happen pretty soon. And you can see some heating starting to take place on the ship. It's going well so far. If you're just tuning in, welcome. My name is Quasi. I'm here joined by Caden and Bob at the moment. Oh, there's some plasma.
Wow, that's so cool.
So if you've watched like a Martin Cedopan's video, plasma isn't actually formed from friction, but it's formed from air hitting the vehicle, right, and then not being able to move away in time, which creates an insane amount of heat, which is like friction. But it's not friction with the spacecraft itself, but rather friction with the other molecules of air or particles of air.
I thought it was compression.
Bob, I think
I mean, it is pretty much compression.
Hermes
Right.
SS1 wants to be your boyfriend. Are you going to answer that question?
Well, unfortunately, we have bigger fish to fry. Yeah, so we have bigger. So yeah, we got bigger fish to fry right now. We're trying to land this thing. I mean, if you take me down to Olive Garden and buy me a bean burrito, sure, but I don't think you're going to be doing that anytime soon.
Being a good question there. Why is it on its side? I believe this is the most efficient way to actually re-enter the ship.
Yeah. We changed it from vertical, as this helps us slow down a bit better, and also is better for control and heating.
I also believe it simplifies when we go into our belly flop, because instead of having to point it all the way down, you just have to roll onto its side, which is just easier for the vehicle to do, as roll is actually the easiest access for the vehicle to control.
Yeah.
Flaps have control authority over the vehicle.
Good call out there. Flaps now do have control over the vehicle.
So if you don't know what that basically means instead of using our reaction control system, which is where we're just throwing gas outside of the rocket, we can now officially use the atmosphere of the air to guide us. So airplanes, you have these things called flaps that can flap slats, ailerons, elevators that can help them move around in the air. And basically now Rhea is going to use the very similar principles to help itself control its descent.
This is just an awesome shot right now. You know, Rhea is actually so big that it creates like a gap in the plasma, which lets us transmit data to our SCOM satellites, the ones that aren't broken, and then to the ground, which gives us these awesome live views.
Yo, when is SCOM 2 coming out?
SCOM 2 has been out for a while now, Bob. Get with the times, you snail. We are
Gotta be upgrading my flipping Wi-Fi, bro.
Do you not have ESCOM?
No.
Did you not know that it
Yeah,
was
we don't-
decided to all send employees for free?
Exactly, bro.
What?
No, actually, for Bob, we have an exception where he has to pay £500 million a month to get ESCOM.
Just
Who
for
is
Bob.
a
How long till
pound?
splashdown? How long till splashdown? A few minutes time.
That's intriguing.
We should be seeing it just past an hour into flight, so just over 3 minutes from now, we should see that landing. And I just joined. I'm a KSP veteran, and wow, this is amazing. Thank you very, very much. We appreciate that.
The Wind 110 back with another amazing question. When and if you go to the moon soon, will you take humans to the moon? Now, I think the plan is to actually collaborate with our boys at CASA or NASA. I forgot. I'm somewhat dyslexic, right? SPASA, right?
No.
Basically, they have this spacecraft known as Shartimus and Artemis the launch date and Delatamus, right? So it's actually going to launch and dock with our superior spacecraft,
Entry
right?
dynamic pressure.
I can't believe you just said that.
It's going to dock with our superior spacecraft in, I think, what is it, low moon orbit, and then do the mission because it's going to replace the Gateway because the Gateway is horrible.
Okay, and now let's lock in on mission control and webcasting. We are slowing down rapidly through the atmosphere. We're 40 kilometers now. We're 100 kilometers slower than our apogee today. But as you can see, we're descending at a lovely rate now. And you can see that plasma slowing down and becoming less bright as we lose our speed and bleed it off with our humongous ship body. And it's awesome to see this at the moment, just seeing how big that rocket is coming in. And if you were underneath the rocket, you'd actually see the plasma and the trail behind it's leaving. And will you guys have a separate lander? Potentially. We're still early days, but we plan to go to the moon within the next few months. So we have a few designs in progress, and we'll discuss that soon.
Quasi, obviously, I'm not part of the Rhea team, but correct me right. I think we will start off with a dedicated lunar version of Rhea and then go to just using the reusable ones for moon landings, correct?
Yeah. And here we are. We've passed through the
external
part of the
temperatures are
atmosphere.
decreasing.
And yes, it will be quicker. It will be quicker when we go to the moon than Apollo. It will take about a day at most, probably, to get to the moon, and that's pretty quick. But here we go. We're about to see that landing.
Wait, can the mission control revert to the cam with like the horizon? That was so cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And we lost signal again. There we go. We've got it back now. 59 minutes into flight. We should be seeing landing in about a minute or so. And 16 kilometers, descending fast now. It's going to be a lovely
phase of flight.
It's going to be a lovely night landing. Ladies and gents, let's hear some Rhea spam in chat and let's get it going. Are you all ready to see this awesome potential landing with the
I
rocket?
sure am.
Yeah, I'm pretty ready.
What about you?
I'm ready.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Okay, so
These guys we don't know.
me and the webcasters are gonna be quiet until it's landed. So let's see you on the other side, ladies and gents.
Enjoy the landing, guys.
There's that landing bird. Oh my god.
Rear landing burn startup.
Team 3 good engines.
yeah. At least the camera crew is actually active now.
Yeah, we got good engines now. We're slowing down nice and smoothly, and we're
Landing
a
mode
kilometer.
switched 322.
And it seems like the mission controller was calling right. We're getting some things in the back channels. We're slowing down now, 30 meters a
Landing
second.
mode switched 2 to 1.
Yeah, so we got two engines now. That's perfect. We now have one engine and a smooth touchdown of Rhea. Just
Oh
Rhea
my
five,
has landed. Recover uppers. Move in to secure the vehicle.
and that's just 500 meters off the target, which is on this camera here. That is insane. We went from 5,000 meters just to 500 meters. That is incredible. Oh my god,
Holy.
that was just insane. Wow. I mean, it landed on its back, which is not optimal, but I mean, it's fine. And it has done exactly what we planned. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the first time we've ever successfully recovered Rhea. Now, we are going to be ending the webcast here. So thank you so much for tuning in. It has been a blast and we've had so much fun doing this webcast. And I'm sure Bob, Apollo, and Caden, you've had a lot of fun as well. So I'd like
Yes.
to
That was the funnest thing.
So I'd like to close off this webcast with a big thank you to everyone who tuned in today. And we will see you in less than 24 hours for Daphnis Flight 3 on the Aegis 1 Payload mission. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Quasi. This has been Rhea.
Bye.
And we'll see you in the next one.